Okay, Christian Hauge is my name. PC was introduced, and probably that's the most easy way of saying it. So, as said, I'm responsible for all services in a company called Tieto. Tieto means actually knowledge. Tieto is also the largest IT service company in the Nordics, and I represent then the oil and gas division there. So I've been asked to present how we are actually evolving our products. We have two world-leading product solutions, and I've been asked how we have evolved those products during more than 2 decades and our journey into the cloud. What you actually see here now is Norway, of course, obviously, I'm from Norway. This is actually the pulp rock. For customers of ours, they are invited to our user forum, which we have regularly, and then you get the opportunity actually to visit this. Normally, you don't see anything because it's quite foggy up there, but this day it was nice. Also, this rock you see here, like just a fun fact, was used in the last Mission Impossible scene. At that time, it was to be in India, in Kashmir. Okay, so a bit about Norway as well. And this is not about Norway, but you know, it's actually this day, this year, it's 50 years since the first oil was actually found in Norway. And then we went from actually then a fishing nation and a shipping nation to become then an oil and gas nation, actually overnight. And it was actually Texan people that actually is the reason for the wealth we have in Norway today. It was Phillips Petroleum that found the first and the largest offshore field at that point, called Ekofisk, outside the Norwegian in the Norwegian continental shelf. So that has been then running since 1971 and is still one of the most producing fields in Norway today. You know, Norway, it's quite up north, environment quite harsh. We need to be smart. We are a small population, scattered country. Technology is really important for us. So with the oil as well, we have developed then quite a high-tech society. And that is also the reason why I'm here today, because in Norway, in Stavanger, we have then developed 2 solutions, one within hydrocarbon management and one within personnel on board, so logistics in helicopter aviation traffic. So I'll get back to those and tell a bit about the story of how these products have been evolved over time and why we believe that we are still rated as number 1 within our domains. And obviously AWS is obviously one of those reasons. So you saw now the numbers here. Through our accounting solution, we actually account for approximately 40% of all global oil production and 50% of the LNG. So actually, how have we gotten there? Because I think that's also always a good question to ask. And one of the reasons is, of course, our solution was incepted and developed in the Norwegian continental shelf, and that has been done in collaboration with today's Equinor, and of course then it was Statoil at that time. And what we have always believed in is that we need to stay close to the customers. So when we have evolved our product through the engagement with Exxon, Chevron, and more than 100 customers, then we have also established in those locations where it's relevant. Because we believe that we need to understand the local legislation, we need to understand the operations type that we are going to handle in our management solution. So therefore, we are located in Calgary, where we are handling oil sands, and also, of course, here in Houston, and so on and so on. We have also some delivery centers. As we are software, we need to have lots of people evolving and developing our product. So we have delivery centers, as we call it, in Czech, to be close to us, and in India and Malaysia. So, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I think it's worth mentioning that all the majors are running with our service. And we feel very privileged to actually be a part of that. And as a software vendor within the industry, we know that we need to be front runner. We need to keep the lead, we need to be trusted, and we need to establish the partnership with our customers in order to actually them also believing in us today and tomorrow. So, then I'll get back to the two products that we have, or solutions I would call. It's more like ERP solutions. They're quite comprehensive. We have one called Energy Components, and then we have DaWinci. Energy Components is, in short, a hydrocarbon accounting solution, which has now evolved over to a hydrocarbon management solution. I'll get back to that. But this is just to show how things actually, how we need to evolve, how we need to develop, how we need to establish new functionality, how the dialogue with the customer needs to go. Because we don't do anything without actually that being done in collaboration with a customer. So the hydrocarbon accounting solution, the foundation for our journey, that was then handling the hydrocarbons from well to first storage. In Norwegian terms, it will be on the platform, and then further transportation either through vessel or through pipeline, or even by trucks, of course not on the offshore. So then we have the transportation, and then you have the sales. We have a sales module, which is handling sales contract, complex sales contract, and you can even handle the trading there as well. In addition, we have revenue recognition. And this integrated solution is then handling the full value chain, and it's one database. So the whole value chain is fully integrated, and that is probably one of the reasons why it has been adopted in the market so much. And then we have, traditionally, Energy Components has been on-prem. It's an on-prem solution. And then we have a personal on-board solution, which always have been in a data center, so delivered as a service. And that is has traditionally been a personal on-board solution. Also incepted in the Norwegian continental shelf, dealing with helicopter traffic to the whole continental shelf. Actually 11 partners are running there, so 11 different oil companies are sharing actually seats in the platform. The solution there actually then handles everything from planning and the activities on the platform, handles then the certificates, so you are allowed to go on board, and so on and so on. So then I would just touch briefly on our Energy Components application. So the original of this was this green box, so hydrocarbon accounting. But of course, we cannot just stay with hydrocarbon accounting. That is looking at the historical data. We needed to evolve our product. So over time, we have evolved. So now we are handling then easy upstream management, cargo management, and pipeline management. In addition, we have then an integrated asset modeling that is then helping you to evaluate actually then whether you should build out a new field or not. And of course, chemistry management and environmental management is now really high on the agenda for most oil companies. On the DaWinci side, it's planning the transportation to the oil field. Traditionally, it has been about people traveling to any type of asset as such, handling then the planning, the transportation, personal logistics. And lately we have evolved this. So now it's not only handling the personal logistic, but it's also handling the material logistics. So normally you have one person traveling to any asset, then there is something that person is actually to do on that asset. And then you are matching that material that person is actually going to utilize as well. So a new functionality which has been picked up quite well. But the whole point by this is not the functionality as such, but it's that we have evolved our solutions so they are still relevant with new functionality and also new areas that we are covering. So for us to enter into the cloud as mainly a product vendor and project vendor, then we needed to establish services, life cycle services within the area. So some 7 years ago, we started that journey because at that time we of course knew that we need to evolve our organization. We need to be more a managed service organization over time. So as a part of that, we established then very defined package services like implementation and upgrade services, training services, application support, handling according to ITIL standards, so handling run and maintain, handling change and enhance, and so on. And also to mitigate for our products, which at least energy component has been quite costly to upgrade. We established also upgrade services in order to mitigate for that. And all of this is kind of hanging together, so we are then establishing ourselves as a managed services organization. So the evolvement from product to a managed services organization. And that kind of leads us to actually this thing, and that is the AWS platform. Because some years ago, we understood that, okay, we need to do something. We have a strategy of establishing an innovation platform because we want to supply new functionality quick to the market. We saw that there was a change in the market. We saw that there is a need for divestment. There is a lot of divestment. How do we deal with that? How can we contribute to that? There is a big change in the IT service industry as well, with lots of disruption technology. We couldn't sit in the back seat and just see this happening. So we wanted, again, to be having the arms on the wheels and actually drive our own destiny. We wanted to stay number one within our solutions, within our areas. And as a part of that, we enter into an engagement then, of course, with AWS after lots of evaluation on our side, and choose AWS as a partner. And then after a few weeks talking with them, then voila, we had a new platform up and running. That's not the truth. It takes some time actually to get this platform up and running. So, but we did what we had to do over many years in regards to actually creating a new type of organization. And now we have then evolved over some years a cloud platform that enables us actually then to deploy new services, that enables us to handle security in a different way or a much tighter way that enables us to monitor and have a full cost control over our installations that we didn't used to have. The transparency with this AWS platform is very good for us. So we started then originally with building the platform for the internal use. That's normally how organizations does it. So take your own medicine. So then we started with our internal. So I think we have approximately 600 instances now of our solutions in the cloud for internal use, and actually then for some of our customers as well. And then we gradually then took on board customers on our ECaaS service. And just for mention some of the advantages we have seen on this cloud platform is that we have a solution that is very complex. You need a lot of testing on it. And the more automation you can get, the more, of course, the better it will be. So not long ago, we had 600 automated tests on our solution, and it took 18 hours actually to run those tests. Today, we have more than 12,000 tests, and they're increasing day by day, and it takes less than 6 hours to run those tests. That, of course, has a significant effect on the quality of what we deliver, which is important for us as such. So this is the platform we now have. We have launched DaWinci there. I'll get back to that. We have and are continuously launching ECaaS as a service there, so our hydrocarbon accounting and hydrocarbon management solution there. And we are then supplying new services on that platform, which we are deploying now at the speed that was impossible for us only a year back. The interesting part with oil and gas as a service is that we have traditionally done the implementation with the customer. And then we have left them and they have been running it. Now we are accountable for the data, for the environment. We are accountable end to end, meaning that we have to handle the infrastructure, we need to handle the service desk, we need to handle the first and second and third line support. We need to handle the whole stack, which is a really cultural change for a company like us. Though some of those services we are buying actually from Tieto as such, because Tieto is an IT service company, so they have some of these services that we are acquiring as such. So I think I just want to mention a few words on security and compliance. Because going into this world of cloud, then there is a very different expectation to security. We are ISO certified in different areas that is relevant. And last year we obtained also a SOC 2 compliance. And so SOC 2 compliance handles security, availability, confidentiality, integrity, and privacy in the cloud. So for us to do that, we needed actually to implement more than 400 controls points in our operations unit. It's a very different world for us when we now are dealing with customer data in our cloud, or not in our cloud, but in the Amazon cloud. So, when you're entering into the cloud, it's not only to establish a platform. There is something on the product side as well. Product has normally evolved over time. It has then accommodated new functionality, new technical functionality that is being implemented. Now it needs to be set in the context of an oil and gas platform, so in the context of our AWS platform. So security with multi-factor authentication, static code scan, penetration testing is now a central part of the security handling as such. Upgradability, we need to think of the upgradability because we cannot spend months or years on upgrading when we are actually responsible for the applications as such. So extension concept, we're changing a bit on the framework of how we are doing things. And when it comes to standardization, simplification, that's an essential part of how we do things now on the product side. So lots of things are being done on the product side in order for also the product to be more fit for actually or cloud enabled as such. Within this year, so how is our footprint then in the AWS? So of course we have done all this for some years in our internal systems. By the end of this year, we will actually then have 13, maybe not the right number, we don't like number 13 at least, in the cloud, powered by AWS, where we are end-to-end responsible for the production data. Some of these cases are DaWinci Norway. That was original, then a solution that was just in a data center, and now we have lifted that in the cloud, in the AWS cloud, and that is a truly business critical solution. If the solution is down more than a minute or two, it will be in the news, because that will stop all helicopter traffic to the Norwegian continental shelf. And that is also a collaboration solution between 11 operators in the Norwegian continental shelf. And also moving from the data center to the AWS demanded a lot of planning, yes, by all means, but we didn't have one incident during that migration. So it was not easy, but it was a perfect migration seen from a customer point of view. We have also, in 2018, we actually launched our first ECaaS as a service in the cloud, where we are end-to-end responsible and accountable for the production data here in the US. That is covering basically all of our modules, so it's very complex, and the performance after we lifted it into the cloud improved quite significantly as well. There is a demand from that customer that we are SOC 2 compliant. So that solution, and we are SOC 2 compliant as such. So that was actually then the main reason for us to actually then applying this SOC 2 compliancy. So AWS Innovation Platform, because now we have the platform, we are moving, we are changing as such. And the first real product that we don't have today in a way, in the way into that platform, is something we call EasySmart. EasySmart is by all means the working name, so whether that would be the final commercial name of it, I don't know. But that is the first version of our easy production, so handling the production data from well to the first storage, handling then reporting, government reporting, partner reporting, handling the calculation and allocation. That is then now being delivered as a service through our cloud. And that is then, of course, a very limited, not a limited because it handles all the functionality you need. It has a very modernized, very process-oriented interface. So the way we are actually then handling now the production data is then in line with all modern technology as such. It's not that our existing solution doesn't do that, but this has been a re-engineering of the user interface. We are using new technology as such, and this solution, with this solution, you can actually start with EasySmart, and then you can grow into a larger version of Easy, because it is utilizing lots of the same functionality as such. This, of course, then lower the cost of operating through the economy of scale, because this will be a solution that will be deployed to many customers for many assets. This solution is then, of course, delivered as a service, so Tieto is handling everything from the onboarding to actually run and maintain. So, now I have 2 minutes left. Some reflection on our journey into the AWS cloud. Well, first of all, I think I've mentioned this a few times now, evolving from a world-leading product within our segment to actually then becoming a managed services organization, where you then need to actually collaborate between all units in our organization. That takes time to establish that trust. Cultural change. Prior, you talk to the guy next to you, can you deploy this into production, please? That doesn't happen anymore. For us to be SOC 2 compliant, then we need to have very clear segregation of duties. We have a very strict regime of who has access and who has possibility to do what. Competence change, building AWS competence, understanding that we need to do things in a different way when we are in the cloud, on the development side, and also our projects that just did stuff on the back-end side. That's not possible anymore. Product evolution, I talked about it, increased focus on security. Upgradability needs to be handled in a different way. And obviously also then the automation part, which is fantastic. That gives us the ability now to provision new systems within seconds that actually took days earlier. Our scalability, automation of tests, the speed of how we can deploy new services, it's in a very different world. So, our journey has just started, and we actually then are looking forward to still be the front runners and on our new platform. So I think that would be, now it's 9, 8, 7, 6 seconds left, and then I think that will be it for the day, and click!